Hello, Hilltop, and welcome back to another fabulous Flex Friday here at the gym at Hilltop. I hope you really enjoyed our nutrition lesson on Tuesday, and you got a chance to learn some of our important go, slow, and whoa foods, as well as some of the spelling of those fun different foods in those different groups. And I wonder if you got a chance to try to explore some of those virtual food games I had attached as well. I hope you enjoyed those. And those were from our culinarykids.org website, which you're welcome to try out anytime. Now, the focus of our Flex Friday workout today is going to be functional movement. Functional movement, what does that mean, Mr. Amici? Well, functional movement is movements based on real life situations, also known as activities you would do every day, like picking up something off the ground and putting it on the counter, or maybe taking something heavy off of a shelf and safely bringing it down to the ground, or if you're helping your adult at home with some chores like raking the yard or shoveling your driveway. So basically any movement that your body does on a daily basis just as part of your daily routine, such as things easily like walking or carrying a backpack or maybe playing a game with a friend. So we're going to talk about the importance of functional movement and what makes functional movement different than some of the other things that we might practice. Okay, now functional movement usually means you're doing two different things at the same time. So if you think back to some of our standard exercise where I would do like a standard curl, remember we called it an isolation movement where we're just exercising one muscle group at a time? A functional movement almost always includes multiple body parts moving at the same time. Just think about when you're carrying a grocery bag. You're using the strength in your arm to hold the weight of the bag, and you're using the strength of your legs to walk it into your house. So that would be a functional movement. Some other things about functional movement is they focus a lot on the core, or remember that middle of your body that we talked about? So a lot of your functional movements will have something to do with the core muscles or the muscles that are in the middle of your body. Now a lot of times when we're training functional movements, we'll either use no equipment or some unique equipment. Just like today, we're going to have a new piece of equipment that we're going to use, and I'll tell you about that in a tile to come soon. So functional movement has a lot to do with things such as like gymnastics. If you remember our gymnastics lesson, all those different movements we did for gymnastics, if you remember, it was never just one part of your body moving at a time. It was different parts of your body moving together. All right, now what makes functional exercise really important is that these are activities that you'll do every day. And it's most important to get that functional strength or functional movement strength by practicing these early in your life, just how you are now. So the better you are at practicing functional movements as a kid, like you are right now, the better off you'll be as an adult. Now, you might have adults at home that do traditional weight training or exercising, which is great. Now, for kids your age, we shouldn't really be doing much of that. If you have ever seen like an exercise machine that an adult at home might use, that's great for isolating muscle workouts like we've tried before, where maybe I want to get my shoulders stronger, so I'm going to do overhead shoulder presses. That's great. But these functional movements focus on using multiple parts of your body at the same time. Now, a great thing about functional movement is it helps decrease your chance of getting either a disease like heart disease, which is something where your heart becomes unhealthy from not using it very much, or obesity. If you remember, we talked about obesity when we learned why PE was important. That's having that extra amount of fat on your body. So everybody's body needs some fat to survive. We just don't want to have too much because then it makes it hard for our body to function the right way. So by practicing functional movements and getting better at them, we'll increase our chance to increase our heart, to reduce the risk of any kind of heart disease, and reduce our chance of having obesity, which is too much fat on our bodies. Now, we want to improve our daily life activities that we love. So say you love playing a certain game. If we get really good at all these functional movements and strengthen the core of our body to allow our bodies to move in all different ways, That way we'll get better at those activities that we do like. But say there's a daily activity that maybe you don't like so much. Can you think of one? What about something like cleaning your room? So maybe cleaning your room isn't your favorite thing to do, but it's an important thing to get done. If you've got functional movement strength, you'll be able to get that room cleaned quicker, and that way it gets done sooner and you can move on to something else that you enjoy. So you want to think about it that way too. Even if functional movement and daily activities aren't things that you like doing, like, oh, I don't like having to put the groceries away, but the more functional strength and ability you have, the easier it'll be for you to get those items done faster. And then you can move on to something you do enjoy, like playing a sport like soccer or basketball or maybe some football. So I want you to keep that in mind, that even if a daily activity that you do isn't something that you maybe enjoy so much, by improving your functional movement, that'll help you get that activity done sooner, and then you can move on to something that you do like. Now, what we're going to do before we start learning about our new piece of equipment and some of our functional movement exercises is we're going to try that Swork-It warm-up again. I heard from a lot of you that we really enjoyed watching kids our own age do some of these exercises. So attached in the next tile, I've got your Swork-It warm-up for you. It'll be a little bit different than it was the last time. So I want you to click that warm-up activity, follow along with those students in that video, and then click on our next tile, and we'll talk about what exercises we can do to improve our functional movement, as well as the introduction of a new piece of equipment. We'll see you there. Go Hawks!